Thank you for joining us. Got quite a few things that I would like to talk. Just before starting, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please ensure you hit that subscribe button in the YouTube channel or thumbs up button in the Facebook channel, so you'll be notified each time when we put up one of those wonderful information sessions. We as soon as some important Australian immigration related information comes out, we tend to come out and give you the information firsthand and discuss how it can affect you in that term. So like our Facebook channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that way you will be notified each time we put out a new notification. Plus each week we go live Thursday at 3 and also mostly on Wednesdays our education team goes live and explain to you about special courses and special programs that universities offers to you as well. So if you're interested in Australian immigration or education, what courses out there, what new visas and what migration pathways out there, I think some of the information that we provide to you at no cost to you might be a good way of refreshing your knowledge and also improving your knowledge about certain visa subclasses and immigration systems too. So before we start going into the discussions today, I would like to bring up especially Mario said Isuru. A lot of people talk to us and ask the procedures of how to engage us, Sirus migration. So the best way to engage us, other than going through the phone lines and emails, etc., when you contact us, whether it's through phone lines or emails, before we have a one-on-one consultation, I think it is important. Normally you get to fill up a questionnaire, but even just before you contact us, maybe forward your CV in majority of the cases, whether you're talking to us about global talent independent, work visa, student visa. It doesn't have to be a formal CV as you would give it to an employer, but what we interested in what is where you're from, which country you're from, how old you are, and what sort of education qualifications you got, what sort of work experience you got. Within the work experience, what sort of job task you have done. That gives us enough ammunition to, enough information to understand your background, to relate to or find the best suited pathway, and also it'll be more effective once we know those information to book you an appointment or talk to you in person rather than finding the answers while you're there. And most of us, we don't try to give you answers out of head. We would like to get some research done, because with my experience and in my belief, I believe everyone's migration pathway or the application process is different from one to the other. You might be from the same class, same qualification, but you might be from different ages, different backgrounds, different countries, different English levels. So it varies from one to the other. So the answer is give us a bit of a background when you contact us, and also please do appreciate we have a lot of inquiries comes through. We did have a couple of weeks off for the Christmas New Year period, but we've been hit badly and trying to recover it from that, because I think I went through over 25 initial consultations this week. So buggered, but but it's interesting. It's just get us charged up for the month for the new year. So if there's any urgent need, please do mention to our staff that the nature of your inquiry is urgent because your visa expires soon, or I've spoken to someone yesterday, by the end of the day the visa was expiring, so we had to drop a lot of things, and a couple of people had to get into it straight away, so that sort of scenarios. But look, that's what we do, that's what we enjoy, so don't wait for the last minute. If there's anything that we can support with, please be in touch. This year I would like to take some bit of time today to talk about the migration pathway mid-year, how it's looking, how does it look like. We all know with the federal budget comes out, the Department of Immigration announced what's going to be the migration program going to look like for the next financial year. So if Mario is kind enough to put up some graphic over there. So this is what's been allocated from 2019 to 20 year, 2020 to 21 year. And if you see on the first column after the description or the category, you'll see how many places are being allocated for each sector. I'll come into it in a minute, but 2019-20 and 2020-21. So the first and third column shows 19 to 20 financial year, how many positions they allocated for each category, and 2020 to 21. So I guess we were running out of the time, and Mario is a bit it's my fault actually. I couldn't confirm until the last minute, so we couldn't come up with the 2021-22 column, but I'll assure you 2021-22 planned level is exactly the same as 2020-21. So if you consider the information in the fourth column or the third digits column, where it says 2020-21 planning level, that's where the planning are for this year too. Something I would like to highlight, some people get carried away with this information. Don't worry too much. There's no a big competition unless you're going through state and territory nomination program, because they have tight allocation budgets to work with, and there's a lot of numbers for them to work with. If you see most of the years, they always fit with the numbers, but last financial year ended, going to certain categories, there were about 76 extra allocations being given to partner visas, and 69 additional grants for distinguished talent program, which is now a part of Global Talent anyway. The state and territory nomination is my highlight of the day, and also the regional. They have exceeded the allocated numbers by 3,068, if I'm okay with my maths, about 3,068, so 3,000 allocations. And also regional, they have gone overboard by about 713 places. What it means is with COVID, with all these movements and increase of unusual occupations, the number of required position has gone up, and I think it'll be very similar this year as well. This financial year, I'm expecting there'll be more allocations towards certain occupations throughout all of the programs, and also I'm expecting there'll be more grants or nominations for employee nomination program as well. There's a very big demand, so sometimes people get carried away with one category. I tend to see some of the people who are well qualified for employee nominated programs, they just ignore it completely and only just worry about the state nominated or 189, 190 programs. So the story in short is there are going to be bigger numbers this year, and even with the total budget last financial year 2020-21, there has been 52 overall extra grants. So I will push through to the next slide to show you some of the other figures, because there's a lot of people talk about there's been a decrease and all that sort of things. If you go through all the I think blue is the plan level, and gray is the outcome of the year. 2019-20, there's been a drop in plan to program outcome, but 2020-21 it has exceeded slightly. This financial year, I think it'll go up again as well. And I wanted to talk about a topic, but I'll talk about it in the next coming minutes after talking about these slides. In the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about this information. So we talked about the state nominated programs and the business visa programs. This is how it's been broken down to each state. So when you're planning, this information could be quite vital for international students as well when they're planning, and also when you're applying for a business visa as well. This could be quite important, because business visa is a quite expensive process, because when you apply for a business visa, you go through a nomination process, and you have to do a pre-feasibility for your business, pre-feasibility study, and do up a business plan according to the state. So it is not a excuse me, it is not a straightforward process to change your opinion from one state to the other. As you would know, New South Wales is the most populated state in Australia. They have a lot of population compared to the other states. Hence, they've been given 2,200 business visa, 188 category visa opportunities, and 4,190 and 3,640 491. So allocations, almost 70% of the allocations gone from the total allocation to 1/3 has gone to New South Wales. So 4,000 from 190 and 3,640 for 491 regional program, and 2,200 new business opportunities given to be approved for this financial year. So in New South Wales, they also have this regional and metropolitan categories. There are minor differences between whether you're going to come and open up a business or start your venture in a regional area or a metropolitan area. When with the minor numbers, ACT, Tasmania, and Northern Territories got very small number of opportunities for business visa program. The other programs, they have quite good number compared to the other business visas. So depending on what you want to study, what you want to work towards, and when you're picking up which state to go, please do consider this sort of information as well. It might be a good heads up for you guys when you plan it. Good news. I would like to share some of the highlights of the visa grants this week. We had quite a few 190 grants, especially from Queensland. We had some RMOs, resident medical officers, and nurses being granted invitations, or been extended invitations to them. So we also had some 491 small business owner categories, and some of the other really good highlights for the week is we had quite a good number of student visas granted. Some of the special ones we had offshore grants from India and also Sri Lanka, and not only for bachelor's degree sector but also for vocational sector. So we had quite a few student visa grants, and students are booking the flights, and they were quite fast processing from the Department of Immigration and Department of Home Affairs as well. We sincerely thank the visa officers who's put in this hard yard to give students the opportunity to start their journey in first semester this year. There are students who have been eagerly waiting to start their course first semester this year, or who have already started and studied couple of semesters in online pathways, but they dying to see what's the lecture rooms like and what are their colleagues that they've been working with looks like as well. So that's a good one. Among other visa grants, I want to highlight my favorite GTI, Global Talent Independence, being very quiet, and everyone's going like, what's going on? It's boring. It was quite fast earlier and nothing really happened. Having said that, this week again, we had a Global Talent Independent invitation got granted this week as well. So that's mostly highlights of the visa grants. Resident medical officer, I think we got the 190 grant at 85 points, including the state points. The accountant, I think about 100, and accountant, I'm not sure whether it came through yet, but it was about 105.6 or so. So good grants, good week, and I think it's time to take up some of your questions, or if you have any thing that you'd like to clarify with any of the visa related inquiries you might have. Please shoot it through. A lot of people talk to me about business visas these days, because 188 visas processing time has improved very well. So people who used to wait for years and years, now the business visa get processed within in average about 12 months in my experience. So yeah, let's take some questions. I'm going to take a bit of time to answer your questions. If you have anything related to any sort of business, any sort of visa category, talk to me. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about business visas, because there's some good things I wanted to share, but I will use up some time next week to talk a little bit more about these new things that I've picked up. So I've got a question from Ko. Can we study Diploma of Nursing with overall 7 bands with 3 years experience from overseas? Of course you can, but the diploma of if you don't have 7 in each band, then you have to go through a pathway like Diploma of Health and then leading into nursing. But during the time you have to fulfill the English requirement. It is not a university requirement, it is the industry requirement for ANMAC or AFRA. So therefore, before you register, you do need to have the required English level. Otherwise, it will be a waste as well. You won't be able to register for your nursing degree. Patty CS, hi. 190 onshore visa eligible requirement. What does gainfully employed long-term capacity means? What kind of evidence should we provide? So 190 onshore visa eligibility for employees, you need to have 3 years work experience, and you need to be able to demonstrate that this is different to 186. So, but you have to show that you have been working in a similar, let's say, similar occupation for at least 3 years. So, software engineer. For an example, if it vaguely vary from software engineer to system analyst, you cannot just try to sort your occupation to the nominated list either. So I'm not sure if I'm explaining it right. The actual term of it is you need to apply, at least have 3 years work experience before you can apply for even onshore work experience under 190 right now. Hi, good morning from Devin. James J, my organization is ready to retain me even I moved to Australia, but the registered office is in Melbourne. Can I work from regional area if I get 491 visa, as I can work from home? Look, with 491, one of the requirement is you have to work and live in regional area, and it cannot be a reason that you created to work from home. So you need to show that you've been working in a workplace in regional, like if they have a reason for you to work there, or if you like. I recently worked for did a visa for a gentleman. The client has been their head office is in a major city. They don't have an office in a regional area, but the required work, he's the representative for that region, but his classified office is the employee's home. So you can do that. Like this client used to is looking after the actual businesses, or inspect the actual businesses around that regional area. So that way I don't think it's a problem. But if it's something like customer service, just taking up calls, or software engineering, that you could work, your actual office is in the city and you're working from regional, I don't think that's the expected outcome of this program. So if you like to clear it a little bit more, James, be in touch, and we'll go through your individual scenario. Rob Dillon, Hey sir, what's the processing time for subclass 500 sample sequence? My partner is doing study in Melbourne in Masters of IT second last semester. So subsequent could be a little bit tricky, Dylan. There's no specific time, but actual visas getting granted these days within about 2 weeks. Subsequent staking can take 3 to 6 months, depending on how it goes, especially in this scenario, because what we experienced is departments trying to push through most of the applications for the next semester as soon as possible. So that's for main applicants and also family units. So Setban, I'm sorry if I'm Satiban, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Satiban. If you receive and applied for 491 invitation, can we still apply for 190 until the no? If you already got 491 invited, I don't think they will consider granting you 190 again. But there is no legal requirement until you get the 491 visa granted. You're not bound, but I don't think state would consider giving you a 190. Depending on your scenarios and increase points, etc., you might be able to negotiate before your invitation. But yeah, Devika Taka, hi, what are the chances for the occupation? Food technologies for New South Wales with 95 points. 90 plus 5 is state points. 95 is a good point, Devika. It is a very good point. I think you'll have a fair chance applying for New South Wales. I'm fairly confident on that. Devin, how to check HRPP visa Canada? I'm so sorry. I'm a registered migration agent for Australia, but not for Canada. Swastik, Swastik Patel, how to degree assessment? How to do degree assessment? I'm not sure what you mean, Swastik. If you could explain it, broaden it up a little bit more, or if you could send me the scenario in an email, I can give you a better answer. Himanshu Patel, offshore 491 visa, engineering professional, 85 points, including state point, 9 points, 9 years of experience, profession plus English, SAO, New South Wales. What are the chances? I'm not biased, but I think SA would be better chances. But yeah, sorry, I didn't. Mario, what was the last bit of that question? 85 points. Yeah, I would try. There's a big competition for NSW, so I don't know. You can give it a go, but I have better hope through SA at the moment. Samuel Sherman, what is happening to people applied for 309, 108, 20 since 2020? No information. Funny you said it. Actually, there's a lot of grants comes through. I'm not sure why you haven't been notified yet. So if you applied through an agent, probably it is best to be in touch with the agent and talk to the relevant case officer. Like when may Queensland open for offshore? That's a very good question. Sativan, I don't know. I don't think this financial year. Hopefully next financial year, Queensland will open for offshore 491 and 190 program. What are the Naina Dias? What are the chances for vocational teachers? Vocational teachers, if you have onshore, I've seen an increased number of employee visas. Other than that, I don't see many opportunities through state sponsorships. Rupinder, PR after MSc Agriculture in India. At the moment, Rupinder, you can't. There are not many not many program other than SA and some of the New South Wales migration program for applying. If you get state sponsored, then you have to score the relevant points. Otherwise, you'll have to get an employment from an employer and apply through that. I'm in Deeps. I'm in Queensland with 80 points. Electrical engineer in renewable energy. Do I have a chance? And my visa ends in May 2022. Deeps, I think if you're in Queensland, 80 points. Are you currently working? And do you have a job contract already? Because if you fulfill 190, being an electrical engineer, I think you'll have a good chance. Depends on what occupation. Electrical engineer in renewable energy, I think you'll have good chances, in my opinion. Naizagi Patel, offshore 491 web designer in New South Wales. What are the chances? Depend on what's your points. It's a very competitive program, Naizagi. I don't want to encourage you too much unless you have very competitive points. If I study 2 years of Masters ICT Security in Newcastle, in New South Wales, but decide to do my professional year in Adelaide or Perth, will start affect my 491 New South Wales stream 2? Tricky question. Of course, because you have to come back and live in New South Wales again and show your residential requirement before you can go into to the 491 program. I think it's 3 months at the moment. Pravan, sorry, I was answering your question. So Pru Talks, with 95 points applied in 190, power and plant engineer, what are the chances to get invite from New South Wales? Very good chances. I think you should give it a go. If you'd like to share your CV, I would like to give you a opinion in few other options as well if they exist. Pro, if you like, please share your CV with me at admin@sirus.com.au. Rupinder, it depends, but because you're offshore, I think you'll have to hit at least over 90-95 points. Rup Dillon, what's Rup Dillon's question is, what's the next step after completing Master of Information Technology mean for TR? What's the recruitment and what's the subclass after Master of IT? Look, I'm not too sure about the question, but if you're asking what's the next step after completing your master's degree in IT, it is a lot of people go into 485, but then again, Roop, I would highly recommend for you to get your PR pathway assessed by a migration agent so you can have a better understanding about where you stand. Sometimes people do get their 485 visa on the wrong time. That can create a lot of problems because after 485 there's no leeway time for you to get the there's no time for you to get the get further work experience, etc. So please do talk to migration agent, so you can have a better understanding where you stand right now and what will be your permanent residency pathway. So I'll take the next two questions before we winding up for the day, from Deeps and Vikas Garg. Because Deep's got one more question. My field in India, working as a software engineer for 5 years, but her bachelor's was in electronic and communication. Can she do skills assessment in software engineering and apply EOI? Your friend is in India, working as a software engineer for 5 years. Of course, but her bachelor's was in electronics and communication. Look, I've seen quite a few bachelor's degrees with this electronic and communication, but what I did was I've recently received a ACS approval as well. What I go through is the transcripts. So transcripts will give us a better understanding about the degree than the title of the degree. Title of the degree doesn't really matter. So if she's done the required ACS required qualifications, the subjects that fulfills the requirement for software engineer, then title of the degree doesn't matter as long as the subjects are required subjects. So Vikas, Queensland 190 with 75 plus 5 points state point for ICT software engineer. What's the chances for current? 80 points is going to be a bit of a challenge to my experience, Vikas. See if you can improve your points. Maybe see if I can suggest you anything else. Maybe share your CV and give us a. Well, we'll have a chat to see if we can improve your. If there's any other way we can improve your points, or if there's any other permanent residency pathways for you as well. I've got one last question, other than my promise from Facebook, so I just wanted to quickly answer. 𝗔𝗨𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗔𝗡, which visa will you prefer? Will you prefer for international students after they finish studying diploma course? Is it 190 or 491? Masong, it depends on what you've studied and what's your work experience and what's your points. Just because you didn't complete a bachelor's degree doesn't mean, because you're in trades anyway. If you completed a diploma program in a trade, and if you qualified at that point, 190 would be the best option if you have the points and the background to it. If not, you'll have to go into 491 if you're eligible for that. So what I would suggest is please maybe send us your background, set up a permanent residency pathway consultation with us, then we will advise you further. You can send your email, your CV and to admin@sirus.com.au requesting an appointment with one of us. So we will discuss your background further to see whether you should be going to 491 or 190. Jaspreet, okay, I'll quickly answer your question before I end up for the day. Can we apply for SBS and 482 visa together? Of course. You can do with 482, you can do SBS nomination and visa application depending on your background as well as an applicant. If you have a current visa and you don't necessarily have to put all three together, we normally do SBS first and the nomination then and the visa after. But if you're confident with all three of them, the employer is solid enough and all that sort of thing, you can put all three together. The reason why we don't put a visa and a nomination together is if you're in a bridging visa and visa, you get for any reason you get a visa refusal while you're in a a non-substantial visa, you might be subject to a Section 48, which means you might not be able to apply for another most of other visas while on shore. So that complicates the matter a little bit. So that way we advise wait till you get the nomination granted. But Jaspreet, also these days there's a PSMOL, Primary Skill Migration Occupation List. If you're in one of those, you get your visa processed quite quickly, in a matter of months. So yeah, keep an if you like us to look into your matter, share your information, set up an appointment, we'll talk further about it with you. Sorry, I think I can see quite a few more questions comes through. Unfortunately, it's time's up for us for the day. We've already gone past our expected timeline. But thank you very much for joining us. Whoever missed out their questions, we all are always happy to give you an answer through admin@sirus.com.au, or if you want to talk to us one-on-one directly, you can always contact us via any of the phone numbers, mobile and 1300 that's 13,000 Sirus, or you can write to us at admin. But if you, I think my experience, the best way to book us up is calling us. My staff's going to kill me, but if you have an urgent query, don't email and wait. Just say, look, I need to have a chat with one of the guys because my visa's expiring, or I need to clarify something quickly because you're about to make a decision. Call us up, so that way we'll be able to set you up with an appointment straight away. Thank you very much again. Wonderful to have you all with us. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please hit that thumbs up button and bell icon and subscribe button in YouTube. If you're in Facebook, thumbs up. And so that way, as I said earlier, you'll be notified each time when we put up one of these videos out. And until we see you 3 o'clock on next Thursday, stay safe. Wish you all the very best for whatever you're doing. And the COVID's getting very popular these days, so stay safe, stay home as much as you can, and be kind to everyone who has it, because there's a lot of our friends and families who's got COVID, and some people unknowingly treat them very badly. Don't do that. There's still our friends and families. It's not the end of the world anymore with this COVID. To what we experience in so far is it's just come and go, and be nice to your friends and families who's got COVID. Take them some food, send them some flowers, take them leave it in their letterbox or something if you don't have to go in, but be nice to them. I'm not a good advisor, but yeah, stay safe. God bless to you all. Bye bye.